Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We're all here so we can call the meeting to order. This is the regular monthly meeting of the Darien Housing Authority. We have the first order of business is all of our commissioners are actually in attendance. I think this is the first time in
For a long time,
We've actually had 5 commissioners all at the meeting at the same time.
Yeah,
Which is kind of nice. We have minutes from the June meeting.
Unfortunately, I do not have the minutes just yet. They're being worked on from the Hartford office. She's gonna send them to me.
The chair will entertain a motion to postpone the minutes until the next meeting.
So moved. And I also presume the financials are the same boat, they also didn't come out, so.
I will send those to you. I should have it to you actually tomorrow.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, property managers report. Crystal, what do you got for us?
Okay, so for the Royal, we had the event, and from what I hear, it went really, really good, and everyone really liked it. So I will have another one planned for you guys for the holidays, so be on the lookout for that. You're also going to be getting a notice very soon. It's going, so you're going to be on October 6th. Kathy will be here in the community room, so that you're all going to get to meet Kathy finally. We're going to do it by floor, so just pay attention to the hour that you're going to be allotted. So if you're on the second floor, you're going to come down at that time to meet with Kathy.
Who's Kathy?
She's the one that's overseeing the construction project. Well, helping me oversee.
So do you remember Kathy Morgana?
Oh, Kathy.
Yeah, yes, her.
Yes.
I know there's certain people here that certainly
Yes.
remember.
So,
She's been involved with the housing authority for decades, and so she knows all the ins and outs.
She's the first one I saw years ago. I just didn't.
yes, so she's going to help me with you guys all to do the construction project. We'll have some coffee and donuts, and you can all meet with Kathy on October 6th. So you'll get a notice for that.
Is that format going to be individuals or groups?
It's going to be groups.
Floor by floor.
Floor by floor, and then they'll make their appointments specifically with Kathy at that point for like personal stuff.
Just one confirm.
Are the tenants able at that point to bring, if they want to bring a representative or a family member?
So that's just to kind of meet Kathy. It's not going to be more, it's going to, the individual things, like the personal questions on when can they move back to their apartment, when they're moving, can they repaint, all those things, there'll be individual meetings that Kathy will come and meet with them personally, with their kid, with their grandson, whatever works for them.
Okay, and will we have, at this meeting, will we have some kind of handout for everyone so that not only is there a meeting, because everybody learns and retains information differently. I would like to see also a pamphlet, something so that's handed out so that we're very consistent in the message that everyone is getting, so that the first floor doesn't get a different message or hear a different message. So
Yes, there will be like an agenda.
Yeah, not just an agenda, but maybe
There's not going to be any sort of pamphlet or handout. We are just introducing Kathy to the community, just an introduction. Just because she's going to be the liaison to help everybody with, where does my plant go? Where does my cat go? Where does my this antique vase go? We want to get the specific details, but we're not going to do that in a group setting. We're going to meet with everybody one-on-one. This is Kathy, and she'll call you. We just want everybody to meet before she calls. That is the purpose of the meeting. So we weren't planning any sort of handouts or anything.
I still think, I hear you, but I still think that it is important that even if it's just a general meeting to meet Kathy, a little introduction to who Kathy is, what the rollout is going to be. I still think it's important that we communicate in as many ways as possible. And that, I think it's great you're having the meeting, it's wonderful, I'm glad. But I do think that, the extra piece of paper that you have in your hand to just, who Kathy is, just a reminder, maybe a way to reach her, an email, something. Every tool that we use to communicate is better for the tenants. And I don't want to see people come away from the meeting.
Contact information, so forth, yes.
Yeah, so whatever time it would take to make up maybe a couple questions and answers, or just an overview. There may be some people that aren't sure what is happening. I think we've tried very hard to be very clear, but there's been some confusion. We won't go down that road, but I think it's important that maybe there's a statement about what's happening and what's going to happen and who might be moving. So I think I go back to I think it's important that we hand out as much information and in as many formats as possible. I don't want it just verbal.
The big concern with this is that in a small community like this, one person gets one piece of information and then they talk to several people. A different person gets the same information in a different fashion and they communicate it differently. And now I have two stories and people aren't sure which is which and what the actual, what's the factual information. Folks, come on in and join us. There's plenty of room. There's a couch to sit down on. There's a couple of chairs. Don't be bashful. We don't bite.
Joe, to your,
Well, I do, but only small bites.
Joe, to your point, when we had our last meeting, one of the things we did discuss was trying to have if you will, a script, so everyone hears it the same way to try to reduce the amount of.
We want to make sure that the message that goes out is consistent and that nobody gets to hear different versions, that they all get the same information.
Yeah, makes sense. I'll type something up and have it for October 6th.
Okay, and
Doesn't have to be volumes, just, the basic facts. But we also need to coach Kathy, and I trust Kathy implicitly. She's been around a long time.
Yeah, Kathy and I actually
But
done that
I
already.
want to make sure Kathy understands it is not her job in this meeting to answer all the questions that people have. This is an introductory meeting. When we start getting to questions, who can do this, who can't do that, who will do this, who won't do that, that will come at the individual meetings so that, again, people get answers to their specific questions.
And make sure, Crystal, if you write something up, that the board gets to see it.
Yes,
It
I'll
doesn't have
send
to be in advance, but that we know what's being communicated.
Makes sense to
So
them,
that-
yes.
Well, and the other thing is, we'll talk amongst the board members to see who's going to, we cannot, for a whole variety of reasons, we don't want the whole board attending each of the 3 meetings. But we do want to make sure somebody's here to be aware of what's going on, so we'll talk. I mean,
The member that, well, you'll get the letter anyway, but I'll send it to
I'll
everyone.
definitely be at one of the meetings, because I live here.
You'll have to be one of the meetings, you're gonna speak at it 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Janet,
Do you have a question? Because you're not on mute. I don't know if you had a question for the group.
I'm sorry, we
She
couldn't
muted
hear.
herself, so I'm.
Right, Janet was speaking and,
whatever.
yes, was not.
Okay.
For us.
So that's on October the 6th, and you will get a notice.
You said 5th.
No, six.
6th.
Sorry.
Wednesday, October 6th.
And then
What time?
You'll get a notice.
I'll send out the notice.
There's 3 meetings, 1 for each floor. So your floor will have a specific time slot.
Okay.
And then, I'm just working on, finalizing the snow the snow contracts for this year, so that we have that in place. That's for the Royal. For the Heights, we, power wash more than 50% of the buildings already. Also working on finalizing the snow contract there, and we're actually looking into getting a food truck to come out for the residents to have something for them there at that site as well. Other than that, everything's been pretty
Similar to the party we had
Right.
here for the residents. This
Right,
would be-
a resident event.
And just so everybody understands, the party that we had here, and by the way, kudos to both you and Myrna, because I was here, it was a lovely occasion. But this event is being organized and run by the management company, Imagineers. This is not a housing authority event. We're not running it, we're not in charge of it. We'll come because there's free food. But beyond that, it's not, we're not the hosts. The management company, Imagineers, are the hosts of these parties. Now, if they do a holiday party at the Heights, I'm assuming I will get invited not only as a commissioner, but
As Santa.
my alter ego will be in attendance. Just because I can. Okay, anything else you got?
No, that's it, it's been pretty quiet, both.
I got all business, I had asked.
Oh, wait.
Oh, sorry.
We can get to old business here.
Oh, sorry.
We're just about to move on to old business, but before we go to anything else on the agenda under old business, we do have an update on the sound situation. Mr. McCluskey, tell us what's going on.
I think Crystal pretty much covered sort of where we are with things in terms of what are the next steps in terms of communicating with the residents. We are working out, so we have the plans for the remedial work in hand at this point. Those will be taken to the town later this week or next week, early next week, for their review and approval. And then we're just going to work out some of the other logistical items, and then be able to inform residents when the move or when the remedial work can actually happen. We do not have a specific date right now, but we are in communications with the architect and insurer on it, and we should be able to get back to you hopefully in the next few weeks or so we can actually get the work scheduled.
Where is that from the bottom or the top?
It's going to be a little bit of a mix of everything. You know, I think as Crystal's communicated, you know, we're trying to do a lot of the relocation within the building itself. So it doesn't necessarily, we're going to look at certain wings of the building. And the initial thought was to go from bottom to top.
So I'm concerned with two things. I thought we were a little bit closer with actual dates. But we're coming up on the holidays. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. We're coming up on
Winter time.
you know, Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. I'm concerned that we're pushing back. I understand, you know, you need the time to get it done, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I think we need to be very sensitive to the fact that we are coming up on major holidays, and if we are asking people, now are we asking people to relocate to the apartments that we had outlined are available, or are we asking them to relocate to the Holiday Inn or whatever it is up the street? What are we?
Majority of the relocations will be done on the property, unless somebody chooses to move off the property.
Okay.
And then the timeline, yes, we'll absolutely be sensitive to the holidays, and we're also not going to get workers in for those days or not consistently, so we'll have to work around that anyway. So we'll be very, very cognizant of that and work within people's schedule to make sure that whatever dates are chosen around the holidays, you know, work for everybody.
Do you think you'll have a better idea of dates by this October 6th meeting?
In a week, probably not.
Which town commissions do you have to go before?
Just building department. Just the building department.
Okay, so they can make a decision like that, they don't have to go through a process, I presume?
No, they just need to review and approve documents,
Okay.
just, yeah.
Okay, so it's not like
Nothing out of the
plans and
ordinary.
everything, they may have to deliberate and all that, which takes time.
No.
It should be a pretty quick.
Correct, it doesn't need to go in front of another commission or anything like that, or.
How many will they do in 1 week?
I couldn't hear what you said, I'm sorry, Sue.
How many in a week?
No, that's what I'm talking about.
How long will it take to do
How
one
long will
part?
it take? It's 2 to 3 days, it's 7 to 10 days, right?
Yeah, so generally speaking, yes, so we're targeting less than 10 days per apartment,
Okay?
and we're typically going to do around 4, maybe 5 apartments at a time.
Yeah, 5 would be better because when you count up the weeks, you're not into the winter time.
Just logistically, yes, it's a small space, there's only so many people that can fit within it, but yes, that's the goal, 4 to 5 and about within 10 days.
And how many units overall are you doing, sorry?
Okay, 3.
It's about half,
Half of them?
26.
26.
That in the back? In the back, yes.
The stuff in the inside the apartment, everything has to be out.
So we'll, on October 6th, we'll have a little more, maybe ideas on that, but Kathy's gonna have those answers for you, because I know a lot of you are wondering if the cabinets are also gonna be emptied, so we're working on getting those answers for you.
Who's going back? I have to pack.
No, we have movers, a professional moving company that's gonna come and pack for you. We will give you boxes in advance, so you can pack anything you don't want us to touch, but everything will be packed by professional movers.
And unpacked on the other end.
And unpacked.
Okay.
You said you may be doing 4 to 5 units at a time.
Yes.
Correct.
How many the people that are gonna remain here, how many units are you gonna have set up? 'Cause
The same number.
Oh, okay, so, all right,
We currently in this building have 5 empty units.
right.
Now, I don't want misinformation to go out to the public. We do not have 5 available apartments in this building. All 5 empty units are spoken for. We have people from the waiting list who are prepared to sign a lease. We are putting off their lease date so we can use those apartments to do this project. So I don't want anybody thinking, wow, all of a sudden there's 5 apartments available at the Royal. That's not the case. The apartments have all been spoken for, but we're going to use them so that we can do all the moving possible on site rather than having to move people off site. And as soon as we finish this whole project, those 5 apartments will be, the leases will be signed and we'll move in the new tenants. Yes?
I just want to clarify something. You're going to work on 5 apartments at a time.
4 to 5 apartments.
5 apartments, and it will take you 10 days to finish those 4 to 5 apartments.
Our plan is, a maximum of 10 days from start to finish.
To finish 5 apartments in a maximum of 10 days.
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I want.
And then we move on to the next increment of 5.
Exactly.
Now, you're going to, this is a place where you are going to get different scenarios, okay? Each apartment's unique. What it takes to make it work in each apartment is unique. So for some apartments, there's less work to be done than in other apartments, and it's totally dependent on how the apartments stack up, where the walls are that are affected and are being impacted. So it might be that one group of apartments will only take 7 days, and another group of apartments will take 8 days. We'll be working out those logistics. Todd and his people have a set of dates in mind. I have a set of dates in mind, and it would be my job to keep putting pressure on them to do it as expeditiously as possible. And that battle will go back and forth because we want the job done correctly. We want it done so that it's to the tenants when they go out and come back, it's seamless. Will they notice that their apartment got slightly smaller? Probably, but maybe not, the way the work is being done. But again, my job as the chairman, and although this is not a housing authority issue, we're not paying for it, etc., but the housing authority still has a responsibility to the tenants to make sure that we crack the whip and keep nose to the grindstone to get this thing done as expeditiously as possible.
Does everything have to come out of the cabinets?
We don't know that yet. We don't know that. We'll get to that when you get to the individual meetings. We'll have some generic information about what gets packed up, what gets moved. Keep in mind, the reason for moving stuff out is so that we don't, when the work is done, look, we're putting sheetrock up. This is going to be dusty work. And we want to have as little cleaning to do at the end as possible. So what has to come out? Well, obviously, anything that's exposed is going to have to be packaged up and moved out of the way. If we don't, then we're left with putting it in the middle of the room and covering it. And you guys, come on, we've been around. This is not our first rodeo.
I'm talking about in cupboards. Can they not take all that?
And we don't know the answers to that yet. We will, when we get to the individual meetings, we will get you answers to those questions.
Okay.
And again, it depends on what the cabinets are. If it's the kitchen cabinets and we can put tape around it and not have to open them up, we'll do that. But you know how cabinets are and you know how this dust is. If we don't completely seal the thing off, the dust is going to get through. And then you're going to be coming back to us for weeks saying, my dishes got dirty, my silverware got dirty. We don't want to have those problems. We want to be in, do the work, put you back together and get out and not have to come back to do it over again.
Well, I've got dust right now and it's not in the cabinets.
Yeah, right.
That gives you a clue, right?
Yes.
Just a question. Are these apartments going to be empty and our furniture going to be in them, or are they going to be, have furniture in them that we're going to go into?
They will have furniture already provided in them.
What
And then
about,
you can bring obviously your personal effects
Yes.
into that.
what about like televisions and stuff? Would there be a TV
Yep.
in there?
There'll be
Or
a
would it
tool
have to
for
be-
televisions,
Kitchen equipment, kitchen utensils, TVs,
Cable, internet,
obviously
phone.
beds,
That
cable,
would all be
phone.
there.
it'll all be there.
Great, okay, thank
So
you.
do we have to disconnect ours from the cable vision then?
No, don't disconnect.
No.
No.
Don't disconnect any utilities, any cable, nothing.
Okay, that's good.
The TV is gonna be 60 inches?
I'll get you 80.
Okay, we'll take it.
Excuse me.
Well, that's the other issue we're gonna have to deal with. We're gonna furnish these apartments. Now, look, these are not gonna be luxury suites. We're gonna put the basics, the necessities,
Right.
so you get through the next week.
That's what
And that's what we're gonna do.
I think it's actually like
But-
32-inch TV.
But I look at my apartment and I'm gonna have to go look and see what they're renting to put into these other apartments. And then my apartment, I'm not involved because my apartment's in the corner and we're not gonna do any work in my apartment because I don't share any walls with anybody else. But if you put me in a temporary apartment, you might have trouble getting me out of the temporary apartment and back to my stuff again. We'll deal with it. Yes, over there, and then I'll come over here.
Please don't turn that around, is there any chance that when they repaint, we can choose a different colour?
So that's a question that a lot of people have asked. I will find out those answers for you. And hopefully have an answer for October 6th on those common questions.
Yes.
For example, like I have this recliner that I love. Is it possible to get them to bring the recliner to their temporary space and then take it back to me, or is it just gotta be boxed away?
I'm sorry, I didn't
She
hear you.
has a recliner that she
Oh,
wants.
you have a recliner that you want in the new space.
Right, for the week that I'm there, because I live in that recliner.
So when you have the individual meeting, that's something you should bring
Oh,
up.
okay.
And if we can accommodate it, we absolutely will. And if there's a reason we can't, then I'll have to
We
explain
will
that.
do everything we can to accommodate, but again, within reason. If it's going to require major undertaking to do it, then,
Okay.
okay, yes.
I have two questions. Do you have any idea in inches for the bedroom wall of how much whatever you're installing?
Yes, 2 inches.
2 inches?
And Sharon, on October 6th, we're actually all gonna take a nice little walk over to the finished apartment so you can see the finished product.
Okay, my other question is, you just said something not to disconnect your TV in your current apartment?
Correct.
Well, you're gonna get dust in that, you know, you've
No,
got...
meaning
The
like don't
service.
cancel your service.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No, we'll pack up your TV and stuff anyway, but yeah, no, don't cancel service.
Right.
Okay? Again, you'll get more information on October the 6th, and then you'll get apartment-specific information when you have the individual. Last question, yes.
Okay, what happens if anything gets damaged while they moving the stuff?
The entire process will be insured. The companies we're using are bonded. We're not bringing in amateurs. This will all be done by professional people, and it will all be covered.
But it's not gonna happen.
Your girlfriend in it?
I'm sorry?
My apartment, the one that I'm moving in for 10 days or so.
Yeah.
If they have a girlfriend for me?
Wait a minute, let me make a note of that.
Add that to the individual meeting question.
That's more than an individual meeting question. Then I got another one, I didn't think of that. See that? See how these things spread so quickly?
Boy, the rumor's gonna be flying about I remember when we were first talking about this in the town hall, and people were saying they didn't want their children to see the old people out on their balconies, God forbid what we would be doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
It was amazing, it really was.
Yes.
Now is this coming to pass?
Okay, moving right along. Other old business.
I have
Go ahead, Jane, you're on.
We had talked about, this is at the Heights, about taking down the paper signs that are on the trash bins and installing a metal or a more permanent sign, because those signs are deteriorating.
Yeah, we did talk about that. I think we're just gonna keep replacing those as they go.
They're terrible looking. They look like crap. They're taped up, they're peeling, it doesn't look good. It needs to be a professional sign. I mean, you did a good job, it looks nice, but it's a taped up sign inside a sleeve. and as the weather deteriorates, they start falling apart. It looks bad. There's no reason that we can't put up, a quality sign that outlines the rules on the trash bins. I don't think continuing to replace something that doesn't look good, and is hard to read, makes any sense.
We will add it to the list.
Okay.
I'm not going to make any promises when, but we'll add it to the list. It has expenses associated with it. We'll have to look at the budgets. Matt will put it on the list of things that we'd like to do as we go down the road. But I can't give you a date when when that item will get taken care of. I hear you, and I understand, and I agree. We're running a professional operation here. It ought to look professional. And, we'll add it to the to-do list.
Crystal, what about a hotel car?
I'm sorry, what?
I will have Thelma build it for you.
I couldn't hear what you said.
The cart that I got a cart for the residents here, so it's easier for them with the groceries. It's in the closet, Thelma has to build it.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, so anything else under old business? Anybody got anything under old business? Moving right along to new business. The first item of new business, we have a new commissioner. This is Susan Vogel, who left us and crushed because the reason she left us is she moved to New Canaan. I know that's tragedy, but nonetheless, that's what they did. So I'd like to introduce our new commissioner, Joan, and I'm not sure how your last name is.
Joan Camlian.
Camlian?
Joan Camlian. I am very happy and honored to be taking Susan's spot here and look forward to contributing. We've been in town about 15 years. I was very active volunteering in the school system. Both of my boys have since graduated from Darien High School, and so I'm happy to find ways to contribute and connect to the community. And so thank you for welcoming me to the Housing Authority.
Welcome aboard. The only promise we make when new commissioners come on board, it won't be boring. We'll do everything we can to make it unboring. Anybody else got anything under new business? Any issues anybody wants? Yes.
Yes. I had several tenants approach me. As you know, we put out Crystal puts out a monthly newsletter that I'm sure you've all seen. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. But I think it could be more of a two-way street. I've had residents suggest, can I run an ad in there? Can I make an announcement? Can I do various things? So I think that newsletter, though it's great, and you've done a terrific job, I do think it should be two-way communication so that the tenants, obviously with your permission, if you said, I'm selling a couch or I'm giving a couch away, we could use that forum. It's a good way to communicate. It's a good way to people to keep in touch. Obviously, there would have to be a piece of paper sign off. Yes, I can, you're putting in your phone number or whatever you happen to be doing. And I think the newsletter, people look forward to it. We've established that much, but we need to go further with it and make it so that it's a two-way street, so that not only is management communicating, but as tenants can communicate with each other. Maybe a question, it may be a question of the month, a suggestion box, and you answer one question of the month, or somebody answers a question of the month. That way, we keep communicating and we're consistent in what we're doing. So I'd like to see that format change. Maybe the next time you put out some suggestions for people to say, whether it's running small ads for, yeah.
I don't have a problem with that person. And again, the commissioners are going to have to arrive at some decision. What we cannot do, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know what we can and can't do. I would ask Matt or Crystal, check with legal to find out what we can or cannot do, because I'm sure there are rules and regulations.
Right, absolutely.
However, what I won't support is using a community newsletter for somebody to make a buck. So advertising businesses, if you're looking to give something away, that's a whole different ballgame. But if somebody's going to be putting an ad in for their son's business or their daughter's business or whatever, I personally have a problem with that. It is not the responsibility of the Housing Authority to provide advertising opportunities for businesses or for people to make a profit. And so we're going to have to take a look I would ask Matt or Crystal, again, legally find out what we can or cannot do, and then we, the commissioners, will have to arrive at a decision as to what we're all comfortable with. I think it's a great idea, and if people have suggestions, if there's things that you don't want to talk to us personally about, but you want to make a suggestion about and see if there's any community support for that suggestion, it's a great idea. And, I have no problem with that.
I would tend to agree. I think that if it's for, I'm getting rid of something or selling my, a chair or something like that, I've got no problem with that at all. That's,
But we're not talking about my son's running a landscape
Right,
business.
right, yeah,
We're talking about tenants communicating with each other. I'm looking for a ride to, an event or something. All those small details can be worked out. We need, of course, legal to check.
And we need to be just a little careful, a little personal ad. I got 3 kids and 2 of them I love, and the third one you can have anytime you want. It's not kind of acceptable stuff we want to put in our newsletter.
No, but obviously,
You understand what I'm getting at? These things have a tendency, if you're not careful, they can get out of hand very quickly. And so we want to set some guidelines so that it doesn't get out of hand, that it does what we want it to be, a community bulletin board to get information back and forth, not to get out of hand.
Yeah, I'll reach out to the attorney and find out what's the best.
All right. Anything else under new business?
I don't know if it's new business, but I was curious about, is there some way, I know in my old apartment building in the city, we had a building bulletin board, like virtually online. And if you wanted to opt into it, you would receive notification when anybody posted something there. And it was things like, oh, I'm getting rid of my IKEA table, if anybody wants it, come pick it up by Saturday.
Right.
Or I noticed this package in the lobby that never got picked up, if it's yours, please come get it. Or I lost my laundry card, that kind of thing. Is there any chance of doing that, where we could have an email bulletin board that people could opt into?
Again, we'll look into it. We'll see what we can.
It's a great idea, because it's more modern.
And more immediate.
Well, and then the other thing is, there was a time where you could say not everybody has a computer, not everybody has access to this kind of stuff. Both, have we done anything with the computer?
Yeah, the computer's working.
It's up and operating?
Actually, I was going to say that too. One of them is working great. One of them is in some sort of...
They're coming out to check. They're coming out to check them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they.
The one on the left seemed to work fine, but I couldn't get the one on the right to work.
Got it.
And we know there's a computer room at the Heights, and we know that's up and operating. So again, this information is available to the public in general, to our population in general. If you don't have your own equipment, there's equipment available on site that you have used.
it wasn't like a My Neighbor type thing, which they have.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Facebook group or something.
And I have
Okay,
one
other item, go
one
right
other
ahead.
thing.
Wait a minute, let Jane and then you.
You can go first.
Go ahead,
I sent you an email, I did a survey, I walked all the trash areas, and there were some latches that were broken. Did we get those fixed?
We're gonna go around and get them all fixed up and it's like the fences like plastic, so those latches.
Yeah, the
it's like
latches break all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, they're-
but we're gonna replace all of them.
Okay,
Anyone
okay.
that's broken, yeah?
Okay, all right, that's it.
Yes.
The holiday season is approaching, and we're gonna have more and more deliveries with more and more boxes. Can we do something about either a table outside to put them on, or how do we instill something in our delivery people that they stop leaving everything out at the curb? The other concern is, a couple of times when I picked up stuff and brought it in, it's been medication. So medication's being left out there. And, somebody could
That's not good.
come along and adopt it on their selves, but really, we need a table. And also, people that are a little up in years who might not be able to get down on the ground to lift up the box to get it inside, where if it's at table height, they can manage to get it inside.
Well, that cart you talked about would be helpful for that too.
But the cart's inside,
The car will be.
and maybe up in an apartment.
Yeah, but you can bring the cart, get in.
The last time this was brought up, I did reach out to Amazon. The problem is that there's always a different driver. So it just really depends on who the driver
Is
is.
there a way we could get a cart that is attached to the building so it can't get stolen, but they could deliver and put stuff on the cart, and periodically someone could take a look at this fill and bring stuff in?
Well, the thing is that they shouldn't be leaving anything outside, period. And if we put a table, we're just gonna encourage them to do that. But another thing that's on my list is I'm looking into Amazon lockers, which are like the new thing where they're just gonna, they can put, but still, doesn't mean that they'll walk into the building and put it in the locker. However, I am looking at other options so that this can not be a problem anymore.
Is there a way for Amazon or whoever it is to ring a bell outside?
Yes.
So that if someone is in the office, they...
Well, they called me.
But the Amazon locker is,
outside.
the Amazon locker is secure because they send you a code to go in and get it. So things would be even more secure, which would make Amazon very happy rather than somebody calling and going, well, it's been 6 days and it's not here yet.
And the other thing is, regular people who deliver here regularly have been given the code to get the door open. So there's no excuse for them not, the excuse is they're in a hurry. And if there's nobody standing there to open the door, it's easier for them to just dump it on the sidewalk and get out of here.
Okay, then, if you've ordered from Amazon and you know that they've dumped it on the sidewalk, then all that recipient has to do is leave Crystal a note that says package was delivered on the sidewalk and let Crystal handle it from there. A few complaints from us. Vote.
Yeah,
I think the person who buys it needs to come.
Hang on, that's right. But hang on just a second.
Proactive.
Hang on just a second. We had a box sitting out here about 2 months ago that sat there for 3 weeks. Didn't belong here at all. It was for a different address on the post road. But the guy dropped it here because it was his last stop of the night and he didn't want to be bothered, and there it went. So finally, after having had it sit there for so long, I saw that one of the Amazon guys come in to make another delivery, and I said to him, that box has been here for 3 weeks, fix it. And his answer to me was, not on my route, because they have boxes assigned to their truck, to their route, and they have no interest in handling what somebody else left behind. So calling Amazon is not always the correct answer, because Amazon, quite frankly, is delivering hundreds of millions of packages a day, and their personal feelings about one package is about...
Well, more importantly, Amazon, first of all, they have subcontract companies, so that it could have been delivered by a different company. Secondly, they got metrics, and it's been written up quite a bit about if a driver takes too long, they get financially disincentivized and dinged. So it's a very difficult company. It's not like UPS or FedEx, which control the ball, if you will. So if Amazon has a method to put lockers here and so on, it's probably going to be the best way to go, because I don't think you're going to be able to beat them at their game, but maybe if we have the lockers here, it'll be easier for everybody to handle it. So we really need to look into what the options are, and I do agree. With the holidays coming up, the number of packages are going to be significantly greater than they are currently.
And quite frankly, if I order something from Amazon, that's not Crystal's problem, that's my problem.
Unless you want to buy me something. But
He is Santa Claus, you know.
unless you want to buy something.
Let's be very clear, I keep a list, let's be careful.
No, but I have. The last time you brought it up, I did call Amazon, but like they're saying, there's so many different drivers that I don't tend to have this problem with UPS, FedEx, or the mailman. They all come in with the code, no problem. Amazon is a problem.
We'll keep working on it.
Yeah.
And we'll keep talking to Amazon, but as consumers, if you deal with Amazon, don't be afraid to tell them, this isn't working. Okay, it's convenient to get everything you want from these people, but they're not everything is spot on the way their ads on television say.
Yeah, they would rather refund you the money than want to.
Yes, they will.
They don't care.
Yeah, they'll just give you the money back.
And quite frankly, if the product is the wrong product, don't be holding your breath waiting for them to come pick it up and take it back. In many cases, they say, I just toss it. Because it's cheaper to just toss it and send the new one than it is to do them back and forth. It's the world we live in. Anything else? Anybody else got anything under new business? Moving right along. Residents, you got anything that we haven't covered? Anything going on here at the Royal I'm not aware of? Yes.
Are you going to charge him?
No, you can, I can go over the list, or you can.
Whatever. You can mention about the moisture and the accident.
I've had several complaints or concerns from the residents of the Heights. Building 3, the hallway lights are out and have been out for quite some time. They've called repeatedly. One of the tenants, I can give you the name a little bit later, in building 3, the dryer was making a lot of noise. Apparently somebody came in, assessed it without her knowing it, and then replaced the dryer with a used dryer, all without her being aware of someone coming in and out of her unit. Damage to kitchen floor in building 4 that's been brought up several times and has not been addressed. Roseanne mentioned to me she has an issue with, at the Heights we had a concern, there are posts that support the columns. And the landscapers and the snow people gradually over time dinged on those posts and it made them look terrible. It took a long time, but we finally got them fixed. One of the things that they did to address that issue was dig out around those posts a little bit more so that there's not grass there, so that the landscapers will stop dinging it. The problem is that in Roseanne's case, she stepped off there and broke a bone in her foot because there is now a drop off from her porch. Do I have that correct?
Right.
She brought it to Myrna's attention. I think she and Myrna are working on some paperwork. I don't want to get involved in the
What building is this?
one. And if you look at building 1 around the edges, what they did made sense around the columns. It's sensible. They removed the grass.
Move stuff back so that the
Yeah.
landscapers aren't
Yeah.
dinging the columns.
But the problem now is when you step off her porch and other porches that I looked at, there is a decided drop that if you're not aware of.
Well, you have a picture of it, and I have a picture of it.
Yeah. I can show you a picture of it.
Why wouldn't you drop out, walk up the steps?
I will have to go and look at that. This is, I was not aware, I apologize. I will have to go and take a look, to see. I know what you're referring to in terms of the
I
pillars.
think broadly here, if I could just interject, these are work orders that need to go to the office. So if we could just set up, whoever has a work order needs to just get these into the office. If the office is not handling the work orders, I certainly need to be made aware, or the commissioners can be made aware. But I think we got to get an opportunity to resolve the issues ourselves, the management level.
And which brings me to, I think Crystal and the front office are doing a good job and they're trying to do the very best they can. We get that there's obviously a lot of moving parts. But one of the things I would like the commission to consider is, I don't think we need to micromanage your office. And I think that's the wrong approach. But I would like to see possibly maybe a monthly, I get complaints that people say random things, oh, I didn't get a phone call back or something. I don't bring it to anyone's attention because I think you're busy, I don't know the details of every little thing. But I'm wondering if perhaps the commission couldn't on a monthly basis get a monthly report on where we are on maintenance. Are we backlogged? Are we looking at, maybe something's happened and we really are running behind, or maybe a tenant failed to bring something forward and you have no record of the lights being out in hallway 3, which may be, and so we can't blame you, we can't, and as Matt said, it's a maintenance issue, but I think we need to see, without micromanaging, some kind of monthly report that would help us to say, where is maintenance? We're running really behind because we have the construction
We
issues.
can take that under advisement, but what I think is really important is that the residents come to the management.
Yes.
And tell them what the issues are, and if we don't solve the issues, I really think they should then, first of all, they can call the engineers, they can call me, they can call any Margaret, Sean, anybody. There are many people they can call, but if all of us ignore their requests, then they should certainly come to the commission and say, hey guys, I went to Crystal, I went to Myrna, I talked to them. Nobody's doing anything to address my issues. And I think that has never happened, so I don't think there's an issue there. That's not, I think the key is that they're not coming to the office. If they come in and they tell us there's a problem, we're going to address it.
Right, but Matt, I think what I'm hearing is that, and again, the resident commissioner is kind of caught in a situation where someone may tell her, but they've gone to the office when maybe they haven't. But if we can see that they haven't, then we can go back and say, have you gone and have you, and just make sure that all the pieces are connected.
Yeah, I'm not in any sense blaming Crystal. I don't know, someone complains to me about, there's lights out in the hallway and they've been out for a long time. All I can do is say, did you bring it forward? Yes, I did. They tell me they did. I believe them, but I believe you. So the only way for I think, us to know, without micromanaging, is to get some feel for where we are maintenance-wise. Yeah, that's just something simple. I don't think we need to.
I do not want to hear all the details of
I don't
all the
either.
issues that are raised.
No.
But it might be helpful to know, excuse me, at each meeting, this past month we had 65 complaints and we solved 52 of them.
Yeah, because that shows
And
us
if
what a
that
good
number,
job.
if that differential starts to look like it's widening,
Right.
then the commissioners can say,
That shows
what's the
the
problem?
good job that Crystal in the front office is doing.
Yeah.
If you've gotten 58 complaints in a month, I would think that's a lot. And then so, yeah, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Without knowing, we can't, we can't see how serious something is or how trivial it might be. So I think to Joe's point,
Just so you
I don't
know,
want to micromanage it. I want to just,
not that I keep track of these things, but if you come to me with a report that says I got 58 complaints and we resolved 62 of them, I'm going to question you.
yeah.
I know we were out of lights for a while. There's like these special lights, it's a nightmare to get. But I was not aware about building one, but she said she spoke to Myrna, so I'll follow up on that and go also to the building to take a look at what's going on.
Yeah, it's just, I think a lot of it is just follow-up. It's just, all I can do is bring it forward to say, and maybe offer a solution. And I think maybe, as Joe said, we don't need a detailed report, but maybe something, an overview, gives us an idea of what those guys are up against.
We're keeping up or we're falling behind.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Anything else? Yes.
Yes, and we also, there's a few of us at Mountain Heights that are having problems, a lot of problems with moisture in our closets and in our other parts. And I brought this along with me to show you how much water has absorbed in my closet, in my bedroom. And this is about a week. And it's been like that. I noticed that. I had problems when I first moved in, getting a little mildew on the bottom of my
Do we have any
closet,
idea what's causing this?
Is
which
this
was
water,
back 6 years ago. So
is this water coming like a roof leak, a
no,
gutter leak?
no, it's just coming. I put this in my closet, and that's where that's where it absorbs the water.
So-
In my closet in my bedroom. So when I take my clothes out, you could feel like moisture, dampness.
I have that too.
She
And
don't-
you have the
and
same,
she also
right, I
has
have
it.
a damp grid hanging in the closet, and it's been there 4 days, and there's already this much water. And my AC is on,
All the time.
all the time, in my clothes, as she said, you feel the moisture.
Any guesses?
But there's no mold or
Matt,
anything in
any
my
guesses where we
apartment,
at?
thank God.
No, now, someone just needs to get out there and come inspect and see if we can come up with a solution for what's causing this. I don't know specifically, I think everyone has different situations and different configurations,
Yeah, because
so.
the rugs in the hall are like making waves.
Is it just this year, or has it been this way in past years?
When I first moved in, which is about 6 years ago, and I was fixing my closet, and I was sitting on the floor, and when I got up, my jeans were damp, and I couldn't figure out, why are my jeans damp? I mean, I'm just in the
Are you on the
bedroom
first floor?
This has been a very wet year.
Are you on the
I'm wondering
first
if
floor?
it's-
But yes, and plus, when I brought it to the attention, at that time Joe was there,
Yeah.
and a few other people. And he had told me to keep my closet door open a little bit to help it. So it's been going on, and now it's gotten worse.
The other issue that we have in my building that I know I've brought to your attention and we're working on addressing it is the carpet has slipped away from the edging.
Oh, I did that when I first moved in.
Yeah, what it
And
is
nobody took
buckling.
care of it.
The carpet is buckling. And you had said the guys could come out and all they would do is just tighten it again. But, you know, I'm going to obviously replace mine at some point.
Right.
But that, you also have that same issue, right? Where the carpet
Yes,
is,
yes.
Todd, who can we get to look at that?
Just, you need to call in, put it in as a work order, and then somebody will come out to address the individual concerns.
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, that's the only way, so otherwise we gotta get it in the program, and then somebody's gotta follow up.
Yeah.
And you have to be clear, so we're gonna go to, you know, go to
To
the
Crystal,
staff, take care of everything and
Yeah.
get into the
Just
list. so
get
maybe-
it documented, and then we'll get somebody to
Yeah.
come look at it.
Yeah, just go call the office tomorrow. I'm not there tomorrow, I'm here, but Myrna's there. Just make sure she enters it into the system for you. And then I will get the carpet guy to come out and take a look at what's going on.
And my suggestion would be, I think their follow-up is great, but my suggestion is when you put in a work order, obviously call the office, but my suggestion is follow up with an email so that you have your own record of that you know that you called the office on
Yeah.
such and such a day, or you put in a work order and you know whether something happened or not. So my suggestion is, you know, calling the office is great, and I think obviously we need to push things forward to Crystal, but keep your own record.
Yeah, because at least if it's in the system, no matter which office I'm in, I have access to it, I can see it.
So make sure that you know when you put in a work order so that when we have these problems, we can say 6 weeks ago or 12 weeks ago, you know, Debbie, I think you said you have a problem with your ceiling, you put in a work order on it.
When you came for the inspection in the bedroom, there was a little spot with water, okay. And I assumed that somebody, Kennel Mo or somebody was coming to check it out, go in the attic, if that's what it's called. Nobody came to check it, it's not leaking or anything, but the circle did get a little bigger.
It grew. Okay, you're 3E.
E as in Edward.
That's your bedroom, right?
No.
It's not in your bedroom?
No, yes.
It's in your bedroom,
It's in the
yeah.
bedroom, but nothing, there's no leaks or anything.
No, but you can see that the spot got a little bigger. Okay.
Crystal, should we just, after we tell you and then follow up with an email, should we do it to you or is there a different email address we should use?
So you should always
that are
email
related to
my-
maintenance?
No, you should always email it's just me and Myrna. So you should just always make sure you email us both, because if I'm out, she'll get it. If she's out, I'll get it. So.
Okay.
Anything else? Anybody else got anything else? Moving right along, we've done residents, that's it. We have- Oh, is there anything, any guys at Royal, anything going on that I'm not aware of? Anything going on at Royal that I'm not aware of? No?
No
Okay.
campfires planned for this weekend. But we are putting in a ski run in November.
You're putting, I'm sorry.
We're putting in a ski run in November
A
in the
ski
skate
run?
park.
Yeah,
The
that's-
skate park's gonna be the southern end.
I was assuming that we were gonna put a zip line out the back.
No, zip line is not till spring.
No, 'cause- I mean, come on, we're high in the back and low in the front, we can go right down the hallway, it'd be cool.
Look, the committee will meet, we'll talk about it.
Okay, make sure somebody's on top of it.
I have something for executive session with
Well,
board members only.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We're gonna adjourn the public session, and we will reconvene in executive session.
I'm still getting,
We still have a problem, and we're gonna address that problem when we address the soundproofing.
okay,
We're gonna fix that problem.
got to.
We have to.
You're number one on my list, Mr. Ring, I promise. I'll make sure we go in there first. We will.
Number one on the list?
Yes, I'll make sure we go in there first.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we will.
Wait, can you stop for a second? Is she still having a problem?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
With the
It's
dust?
dust coming out of the vent.
So once we fully
And
empty,
she's
we'll
wrong.
check.
I got it tested.
But this is, how long has this been now?
Forever,
Since she's moved
since
in.
we moved in.
Well,
We checked everything, we just have, when we take her out and we'll have construction really look at everything. Once we take her out.
It's not just her apartment, because I mentioned it once a long time ago, but
Yeah, but
I.
you're not getting it
You
anymore,
want
right?
to too because you
I
have
do,
to
but
price
it's
me,
very much
right?
less than what Kathy gets.
Yeah,
He's always got me, he's up above me.
You get it as bad as she does, Nino?
no, I get those, but the thing is that fan it keeps running 24/7, 365 days a year.
Yeah, yeah.
And they show me that it's a switch for, but the switch don't do anything.
Okay, we'll check this when we get.
When we start going into individual apartments, these are things we'll be looking at.
Yeah.
Yes,
Can I ask?
yes.
Crystal, on the dryer, in the back of the dryer, I was told that you have a central suck-up system or something. Well, where the tube comes out of the back of the dryer and goes up, there's still a lot, who cleans that out? There's still, nothing up there can suck up right by the back of my dryer.
You mean the one that's like in the wall?
Yeah, are we supposed to open that and go in there?
That's full of dust in there.
You can if you feel comfortable, and just give us a call, and we'll have someone, we'll clean it up.
Okay, because that needs to be done.
That's something that we'll only do yearly too, though, the dryer rinse, that'll be part of preventative maintenance.
Remember they done that in my
So-
apartment?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll always, then we'll go in and do that normally for preventative maintenance, but if you get yours really full, we can go in and clean it.
Are we supposed to open that thing? I never touched it.
You don't have to, no.
I empty it every month myself.
The dryer vents should be cleaned as part of regular maintenance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then if you notice an issue, obviously,
then let us know.
call it in and then somebody will
When you
come up.
talk about the dryer, you don't mean the one in the dryer, you mean the one
You mean the
secondary.
Yeah, the secondary behind the dryer.
Behind the glass, the brown thing, right?
Yeah, it's got a handle, you pull it out, you pull it out,
You know, you got to clean it,
Exactly.
instead you got to clean it once a week.
But you don't have to if you don't want to.
But if you don't feel comfortable doing it, we'll have someone.
Because the dryer is taking forever to dry clothes.
Then we should clean it.
All right,
Give us-
I'll do an email.
shoot me an email. Yep, shoot me an email.
Can I ask one quick question?
Go ahead.
It's not about the apartments, it's about this room. Are we allowed to use this room for private functions? Can we rent it?
You can, we haven't started it just yet. Let me see where we are with making it for private events. Right now, you can come in 7 to 10, 7 days a week.
Yeah, but the door's always locked.
No, your key works.
Well, every time I tried the door's
Yeah, no,
locked.
my key didn't work either. But I was actually specifically talking about if you wanted to hold it.
For your private party.
Party, yeah.
Let me look into that for you to see if we're gonna start doing those again.
Crystal?
But if your key doesn't work, come see me tomorrow.
Yes. A couple of us were talking about getting together here Friday evening for a book club, is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, just wanted to check.
Yeah. Can I come?
Yeah. Not till 7 though, you probably want to get home.
I do. But I love to read. But yeah, absolutely. Book club, games, whatever you want.
Joe's doesn't work.
Yours doesn't work?
I'll up with an email to Crystal, okay?
Okay, come
I'll
see
up
me.
with emails to Crystal, because Joe's doesn't work, yours doesn't work, yours doesn't work.
Crystal,
Make
is
sure
it a
there's one.
handheld or can you do it from the computer? Everybody?
I will need to physically have everyone's key, because remember, I originally didn't program it, because it was closed, so now
You get it.
it might just need to be turned on for the club room.
In the interest of complete disclosure, it doesn't bother me that my key doesn't work because I have the combination to the master key. Just letting everybody know.
Yeah.
Don't worry about these things.
I'll actually put a note on the door that says if your phone doesn't work, come see me, so everyone knows.
This is the key to my apartment. The front door, it works in both of those places, but it does not open that.
Oh, okay,
And it should.
I wasn't losing my mind.
Do we have any time frame when you'll start to work on this door? Remember you said you had to get something for the door?
So they're waiting to give us a date, so everybody's behind right now. They're actually gonna do that back door also, so it automatically open like the front. So that's all in the works. It's just they're really behind.
Okay.
One company said no.
Anybody else got anything?
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to close the public session and move into executive session. Just so everybody knows, we will not be discussing anything in executive session that will cause us to come back into public session to vote.
Thank you.
We're done with that.
Thank you guys.
Have a good night.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you for the.